Hello everyone, this is Rob with Media Awareness. And as the title of this video suggests, a couple days ago, on September 4th, Mr. Roger Waters, formerly of the band Pink Floyd, wrote and posted a public letter that he had drafted to Olena Zelenski of the Ukraine. And this was brought to my attention by a friend of mine in the UK, Darren. I'll leave a link to his channel below. Darren has a lot of great videos on progressive rock reviews, different topical pieces that are poignant at the moment, and just a whole bunch of the great videos he does. And so I went to Roger Waters' Facebook page, and the first thing I see is this entire letter posted there. And it's really kind of, it's heart-wrenching to think that an individual like Roger Waters, with such a great amount of talent and intellect, can be so demeaning. Basically, what Roger does in his letter is he, not in so many words, but he urges the Ukraine to kind of just let Russia win, give up the fight. Despite the fact Russia were the ones who decided to take back Ukraine. I'm really bothered by this, and normally I do not get political on this channel, ever. Historically, and even since restarting this channel, I swore that I would not cover politics and music, and politics in music. But in this case, it's something that needs to be addressed. A few weeks ago, I watched a performance that Roger had done of Another Brick in the Wall from his recent tour. And it was spectacular. I will say that. But now, this is like blasphemous what he's doing. And if he had written a letter to Putin and basically called Putin out and told Putin to back down and so on and so forth, that would have been, he would have been playing both sides, and that would have been more, slightly more acceptable in my opinion. But he's really just rudely disregarding the Ukrainian cause for their land and their people by suggesting that they just stop the fight. And we all know that if they stop the fight, Russia wins. And it's clear to, I think, many people that Putin's endgame is to have a sort of rebirth of the Soviet Union in one way, shape, or form, which would not be good for the world at all. Um, I read this letter a couple of times before doing this video. It's on Roger Waters' Facebook page, just in plain sight, right there, and it's people. Some people agree with him. Some people like it. Some people love it. A vast majority of people have angry reactions and sad reactions to what Roger wrote, as it is really um, controversial and it is extremely in poor taste. It's one thing if you um, I could see if Roger was um, of Russian descent himself and proud of that and supporting Russia in that aspect. It wouldn't mean that he was right at all, but it would justify his stance more so than what he wrote. It makes no sense at all. Um, and just to give some perspective, Roger Waters wrote Pink Floyd's The Wall, um, and based it partially on his father and the loss of his father, as well as loosely on the uh, um, retreat of Sid Barrett psychologically into himself. So if anyone wonders what The Wall is about, it's about two separate concepts, but they're joined together in this narrative that Roger created for The Wall. And he then presented it as a demo for the band, and they had that to choose from between that and what became the pros and cons of Hitchhiking, Roger's first solo album. But writing and uh, conceptualizing something like The Wall that is so political on so many levels. It's psychological as well, there's no doubt. Comfortably numb. There's so many aspects of The Wall that are psychological, but there is a political element to it. And the fact that he wrote that and is now advocating that the Ukraine give up their fight against Russia is just ludicrous to me. Um, I've never been one to advocate for war. I've always been a very peaceful person. But when you're fighting back against a regime that is trying to take over, you have to fight back. Otherwise, they win. There's just, it's black and white. And whatever support we, the United States, and all the other countries that are helping can give Ukraine, I am all for it. those people are fighting for their country. They're fighting for what they believe in, and um, it's just it's heartbreaking um, that a musician like Roger Waters would basically take such a stance. He's not staying neutral, and that's kind of what gets to me. And I think that's what gets to a lot of people. He's not a neutral party in this. He calls Zelensky out in the letter to his wife, um, Olena, and basically illustrates all these points that he was going to um, uh, accomplish for Ukraine before Russia started their whole invasion. And regardless of whether or not these things were accomplished, they were admirable goals, and they still are. And it takes time to get the political machine moving and to get all the gears in sync to make change happen. And I believe firmly that uh, what was intended to happen and what was put in writing to happen would have happened had Russia not taken steps to invade the Ukraine and retake it as they once had years ago. It's just, it's disgusting to me. And um, I know that many of the Russian people are against the war. Many of the soldiers themselves are against the war. And I don't see the point other than gaining background that the Soviet Union lost. And what's the end game? That's the question. And if we let Putin win, what then? What's next? You know, if he takes the Ukraine, who's to say Poland's not next? And I'm half Polish, half Irish. Um, there's so many factors to take into consideration as to what the end game is, and if there even is one. Um, and I'm with my friend Darren from England on his beliefs on this whole uh, ridiculous war in the Ukraine. Um, Ridiculous in the fact that Russia is persisting in fighting a war against the people that are proud and don't want to lose and aren't willing to lose. Um, I think that Putin thought he could just march in there and take things. And that's how it seemed initially, that it was going to be an easy maneuver for him, not realizing that these people love their country and they stand by their country, and they should. Um, the world may have changed since World War II, and even since the Cold War. But some things never change, and old ideals can sometimes prevail, and old beliefs. And unfortunately, Putin is from a regime that is gone, and I'm of the belief that he wants that back. He wants that one last hurrah before, it's his last breath, so to speak. Um, I support the Ukrainian people 100%. I have done all that I can in my power, what little power I have, to show my support for the Ukrainian people and for their fight against Russia. Um, I just hope that people watching this um, will share this message and um, by all means boycott Roger Waters and his insanity at the moment of urging the Ukrainian people to stand down because they should not stand down. If anything, they should fight like hell. Um, it's their land, it's their country, and this didn't have to be this didn't have to involve a musician like Roger Waters, but he involved himself. So here I am covering it. I'll leave a link in the description below to Roger Waters' Facebook page. Feel free to angry react to this post on there. It's the first post on there, at least it was when I looked a few minutes before this filming, and also comment on there your opinion. I held back from commenting, but feel free to comment on my video if you like and share it with a friend or with lots of friends. This is Rob with Media Awareness, and I'll be back soon with more positive videos as opposed to rants like this. Thank you for your time and have a great night. Bye.